Hello, puppies and kittens, and welcome to another episode of Reading Joseph Smith. It's my daughter's birthday today, so happy birthday to you. Yep. 35 years ago today, her and I were very different people, and she wasn't even a people yet. So, shout out to her. All right, welcome back to the usual assemblage. Tomer, Walker Bow, Bryce Blankenagel, Shannon, Ivory Darkness, of course, myself and Peter. And Tomer, I heard rumor that this is going to be the last you're going to be doing the Joseph Smith thing.
Yeah, continuously at least, because this is the end of the Isaiah chapters.
Yep. Well, there's some other things coming up that you might be interested in, so we will just petition you as necessary.
Yeah. I think there are some more Isaiah chapters later in the book. There's also something like Malachi or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh, Malachi. Okay, maybe. Yeah, I've seen.
I would just suggest skimming through each chapter because there might be stuff there of interest to you, and if there is, welcome to join back. Okay, welcome, Jimmy Snow.
What up?
How does it go?
It go good.
See a Jimmy Snow. I see somebody very, very different.
It's I'm either young Dillahunty or young Heisenberg, depending on your preferences here. One of the two.
You goddamn right.
What are we on? Second Nephi 25? Is that where we are? 24?
23.
23.
AKA Isaiah 13.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
And who is reading today?
I'm happy to try and speed read 10 verses again at a time if you want to try and get through this Isaiah absolute dreck.
We've got Tomer here, so we got to go every other verse kind of thing.
Well, we figured it out last week where he could do commentary 10 verses at a time, and it lent to getting through it faster. We were done. We were going to try and do the whole thing, but we were done after like 90 minutes last week.
Are you blaming me for this taking forever?
You draw whatever conclusion you want to draw. I'm not saying anything out loud.
I'm usually the suspect on this, but
yeah, this is usually my fault too.
Let's try for a good narrative cadence that doesn't sound like you're speed reading.
Well, did it last time? I didn't. What are you trying to say?
I went to a conference once where one of the speakers was an author, and he thought he was preparing a 45-minute presentation. They told him he had 20 minutes to speak. So he just insisted on saying all of it, that he just really, really fast.
Oh, dear.
To the point that nobody could understand anything he said over that 20 minutes.
20 minutes of speed talking, though, that's impressive by itself.
You know what? This is so Mormon, though, because sacrament meeting, because, of course, sacrament meeting in Mormon church is the members of the ward rather than the bishop doing the talking. And so you'll have these assigned speakers, and they'll be told you get 10 minutes or 12 minutes or whatever. But, of course, the first one always goes over unless the first one's me. And so there'll be this, 25-minute talk. And then the last person has 3 minutes to give a talk that they prepared that was 12 minutes long. And so instead of shortening it and giving the highlights, they'll speed read the whole thing. And you're just sitting in their audience going, really? Okay. All right. Yeah. So yeah, that's so Mormon.
Is this my first time on the bottom row? I feel weird.
You're always on the bottom row.
I'm not going to comment.
I don't think I'm
not going to say anything.
Oh.
Okay, fine.
10.
I'm late, and I'm sorry that I'm late, and I brought like 500 people with me. My bad. My bad. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything because I noticed there was 21 people, and then suddenly there was 609.
Yeah, I brought them from the show I was doing. We did an automatic redirect, so some of them are here against their will.
Well, those are my favorite ones.
Yeah. We're holding your attention hostage.
I'll say at least one hopes that I'm not here. Well, too bad I'm here.
You are here. I wish you were going to always be here, but okay. All right. Am I reading? Or is Jimmy reading?
We just stepped. No, we're going to do Jimmy's
reading.
Yeah,
Jimmy's
because
gonna speed read without speed reading.
I steamroll this thing, so I just find the Isaiah chapters torture. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amoz did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones, for mine anger is not upon them that rejoice in my highness. I'm super high right now. The noise of the multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the hosts of the battle. They come from a far country and from the end of heaven. Yea, the Lord and the weapons of his indignations to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint. Every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be amazed at one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Oh my God, they're doing astrology. Fuck this.
I'm so scared.
You
I'm
know-
so scared. I'm so scared.
I'll get to that. Yeah.
And for the people in
So
chat,
for-
nothing of that came to pass.
Yeah, that's true. Literally.
Yet.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
find a pass to come anywhere. Sorry.
Well, and Isaiah
sorry.
doesn't fall for those. Yeah.
So about verse 1, the burden here in Hebrew, it's masa. And while the word can be used to mean burden, it is also used to mean an utterance or an oracle. For example, JPS translates to pronouncement, NIV prophecy, and the Septuagint vision. Amos Chacham explains that masa is one of the names for prophetic sayings, perhaps because the prophet raises, noseh, his voice. Similarly, it is used in Numbers 23:7, Jeremiah 23 verses 33 and 40, and Proverbs 31. Now, in verse 8, the pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. The phrase, they shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth from the KJV is actually omitted from this.
Mhm.
The words for pangs, tzirim, and sorrows, chavalim, are all related to childbirth pain. I don't know why he removed them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Bryce, is it in the original, the stuff about childbirth and all that shit?
No, the way that it is printed in the Book of Mormon right now is the way that the original handwritten script reads as well. So I'm not sure
Okay.
why that bit was removed.
Okay.
And also, now in the same verse, their faces shall be flames. Ibn Ezra writes that their faces are burnt by the intensity of the pains, and David Kimchi wrote that their faces will be red from embarrassment.
How interesting that this is this Aaron's daughter's birthday. God. And we're talking about the pangs of childbirth.
Yeah, I guess. Now, verse 10.
Of course, none of you, including me, actually, now that I think about it, understand anything at all of what this is talking, how that feels. So, yeah, pangs of childbirth. I didn't go through labor, so I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
It also sounds like an advertisement for acne medication.
Yeah.
Now, verse 10, the stars of heaven and the constellations shall not give their light. So I don't know if in Mormonism it is actually the case that the stars will not give light. Is it like understood this way?
Sometimes.
Well, spoiler alert, in this book, when Jesus comes, the
Yeah.
sun itself doesn't give light for 3 days straight. So, that's
Well,
a
they,
thing in
they
Mormonism.
say
No,
3
no, no,
days, but
not
it's really only like
a day and a half.
a day and a half. It's
Oh.
like
A
half
day, a
of
night,
that,
and a
but
day is a
but-
night, a night, and a night.
yeah.
So the
nothing
answer
is-
to your
nobody
question,
is ever
Tomer,
is.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That happens.
Okay, so in the context of this verse, several
Mhm.
commentators have expressed the opinion that this is merely an exaggeration and does not represent a change of nature. Maimonides, for example, in Guide for the Perplexed, Book 2, Chapter 29, writes, I do not think that any person is so foolish and blind and so much in favor of the literal sense of figurative and oratorical phrases as to assume that at the fall of the Babylonian kingdom, a change took place in the nature of the stars of heaven or in the light of the sun and moon, or that the earth moved away from its center. He was a
Wait, how did that comment begin again?
I do not think that any person is so foolish and blind.
And a Mormon would say, hold my Sprite. Thank you. That was a solid ass joke, and it deserved way more than just the one person here who's on my side. Thank you, Ivory. Oh, Aaron, you were muted.
I haven't finished. For all this is merely the description of a country that has been defeated. The inhabitants undoubtedly find all light dark and all sweet things bitter. The whole earth appears too narrow for them, and the heavens are changed in their eyes. That's it.
Okay.
Aaron, you think you're muted?
Yes.
I have to keep muting because the dog keeps going off every minute or so because he's an asshole. Anyway, we got a comment from a Margan for $20. Thank you. Says,
You have a comment above this.
Oh, all right. Well, Matt Gresham, new member, says, what? Okay.
No, you're good. Keep going.
Okay.
You're good.
What are the best online resources if I wanted to know more about dinosaurs and other things concerning science topics that Aaron has talked about in his videos? So you want something talked about in my video that isn't in my video? I don't know how to answer that question.
No, he wants
Google the
other
thing.
sources that you might have for him to get more information.
Send super chats to Aaron and Forrest when they're on Skep Talk, and they'll talk about it forever. Speaking of, Aaron will be on Skep Talk tomorrow. Perfect time to plug it. Don't miss Skep Talk tomorrow on the line because Aaron is hosting.
Thank you very much.
Hey, can we move it an hour later? Would you mind?
I don't mind.
If we start at 7 instead of 6, thank you. I'm gonna go fix that while you.
I'm normally up until stupid early in the morning anyway.
Good. I've got a dentist appointment beforehand. I just want to give myself more room to get home and get pre stuff done.
And then Amargan offers $20. Thank you. It says, "Is it true that you can only truly appreciate the Book of Mormon if you read it in the original Klingon?"
Yes. Absolutely. Because you see, it is all about vengeance.
Yeah.
Vengeance and death and killing and all of that. Yes.
Very good.
Jimmy, I need a
Praise.
Never mind.
What were you gonna say, Ivory?
Oh, I was saying I need a chuddy each. Will you be able to stand in Jimmy?
Oh, you need a what? Can I stand in for?
A chud each. It's supposed to be like a combat stand-in or something in
Oh
Klingon
no, I'm a
culture.
wuss. I can't.
No,
I can't.
he's
fight.
a nerd, but he's not that much of a nerd.
Yeah, you don't want me to do. I was pretty scrappy when I was 21. I'm luckily just now very large framed. I'm a very large presence person. I'm 6'2" and 250, so people assume I could still fight. Even if I won, I'd be in pain for days. You don't want me. I'm a wuss.
Yeah, somebody asked me on Facebook just yesterday, what was the most tired you've ever been? And I recounted immediately when I was doing a live action battle game on a list field with 3,000 fully armored warriors fighting sword and shield for 8 hours. And when the battle was over with, when the day is done and I'm having to walk back to my campsite, I can remember I was staggering, and the weight of my homemade reticulated armor that was buried under several animal hides to look cool was the weight of it, 70 pounds worth, was enough that I thought that it was going to constrict and kill me before I got to my tent.
Then for me, it was the first and last time I tried doing a leg day at the gym. I only tried once. Fuck that shit. Awful. Thank you. Thank you for the chuckles.
Who's reading?
I haven't read in a while.
Okay.
And I will punish the world for evil and the wicked for their iniquity. I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay down the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man and more precious than fine gold, even a man that and the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chased roe, and as the sheep that no man taketh up, and they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one unto his own land. Every one that is proud shall be thrust through, yea, and every one that is joined to the wicked shall fall all by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver and gold, nor shall they delight in it. Their bows shall also dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, is excellency. The beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there.
Okay.
Is that right if I finish these last two verses? Just
Yeah, there's
to
only
finish
two
off the
left.
chapter?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
God bless you.
We're so
Sure.
close.
But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her day shall not be prolonged, for I will destroy her speedily, yea, for I will be merciful unto my people, but the wicked shall perish.
Satyrs!
Okay.
I love this. The satyrs, the half man, half goat. Yay!
I love that anybody
Oh,
thinks that this is like don't worry, we'll let you do your thing, Tori. I just love
Sure.
that anybody thinks that this is a moral book where it's literally like, hey guys, and listen, since y'all are gonna fuck up, I have a band of rapists and child murderers that I'm gonna sick on you. I'm the good guy, thus saith the Lord. The fuck is this shit?
Yep.
It's worse
Yeah,
than
it's
Game
all-
of Thrones.
It's chock-a-block full of family values.
Literally, it's talking about what did it say about the ravished wives that they're going to come in on my command. They're going to come in and rape your wives and dash your children to pieces and dash your young men to pieces. You know, it actually doesn't say what happens to the older guys in this, so I guess they just get off scot-free. But it's
They're men.
Yeah, you know, and you
They're
dudes will be
men. It
fine,
doesn't
except
matter.
Except
Yeah.
for your dead kids and your raped wives, you'll still be alive to witness your raped wives and your dead kids. So, you know, you'll probably be sad, though. We only treat those things as property. So maybe you'll just go to the store and get a couple new ones. Great book.
Religion.
Go ahead, Tamar.
Well, I would say that I think this is basically from the moral viewpoint of this era. You find similar things like in other laws, such as the Code of Hammurabi and the Assyrian laws. And so, and I think you need to treat it as something morally from the past to understand what they're talking about.
So that's like
you get
listening
my-
to my grandfather justify his previous attitudes that are no longer acceptable.
Yeah.
It's like when my family talks about how important it is to pull the child's pants down and beat him with a switch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mhm. Okay. So I'll start my commentary. First on. No, I mean, I really didn't dabble on this very much, so it's just my hypothesis. But okay. Verse 11, and I will punish the world for evil. So most commentators understood the world here, Tevel in Hebrew, to mean Babylon. Ibn Ezra, however, renders it as the world because Cyrus conquered many countries. Yeah.
Okay.
And 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold. So according to David Kimchi, Amos Chacham, and Professor Yair Hoffman, the number of the dead in Babylon will be so high such that even gold will be more common than people. And Targum Jonathan translates, I will love them that fear me more than gold, in which the sons of men glory. And the golden wage of Ophir, in Hebrew it's Ketem Ophir. Ophir was a port or region that was famous for its wealth. It's mentioned in the Bible in 1 Kings 10:22, where King Solomon received a shipment from Ophir every 3 years, which included gold, silver, ivory, apes, etc. The phrase golden wedge of Ophir also appears in Psalms 45:10 and Job 28:16. This phrase was also found in an inscribed pottery shard at Tel Kasil in modern-day Tel Aviv. The location of Ophir is unknown, with theorized locations including Tamilakam in India, the Arabian Peninsula, and the African shore of the Red Sea. Now, the fruit of the womb. So this is a symbolic name for infants, not literally fruits. I hope Mormons don't take it literally.
They see it as children.
Yeah, good.
But they eat them like fruit.
Good.
Right.
The Arabian in verse 20, BDB Dictionary translates it as a foregoing step dweller. It also appears in Jeremiah 3:2, like an Arab in the wilderness. And verse 21, wild beasts of the desert. So in Hebrew, it's tziyim. This also appears in Jeremiah 50:39 and in Isaiah 23:13, also 34:14. Several commentators like Ibn Ezra, David Kimchi, and Joseph Caspi, and BDB Dictionary render it as a general word for the animals of the desert, deriving it from the word tzia, which denotes a land of drought or desert. Rashi identified the tziyim as martens, and Joseph Kara identified them as monkeys. I don't know how. The doleful creatures, in Hebrew, it's ochim, which is a hapax legomena. Ibn Ezra identified it as a type of fowl, and in modern Hebrew, oach is the name for the eagle owl. David Kimchi identified it as a ferret somehow. BDB Dictionary renders oach as jackal, deriving from the Akkadian word achu. NIV also translated it to NIV also translates it to jackal, and the Septuagint translates, and the houses will be filled with noise. Bizarrely enough.
Did I miss the description of the dragons in their palaces and the satyrs dancing?
Oh, no.
We
We're
aren't just
that.
glossing over that, right? Like we get to
We're
talk
getting
about
to
that.
But please
It's
let
all-
us talk about that.
Yeah,
I've been called the mother of dragons before. Let's talk about that.
let me get to the
Yes.
more boring parts.
Yes.
So owls, it's in Hebrew, it's bnot ye'ena, and this is the Hebrew name for ostriches. While most commentators understood it to mean ostriches, Professor Yehuda Felix identified it as an owl, based on Job 30:29. Now the satyrs, in Hebrew, it's seirim, literally means hairy ones. This appears also in Leviticus 17:7. Early translations and traditional commentators render them as demons. BDB Dictionary also offers he-goat. Ibn Ezra writes that the insane see them in the form of goats.
The insane see them in the
Yes.
form of goats.
Yeah.
That's funny because in the New Testament, I think the insane see them in the form of pigs.
Really?
Okay.
That's that's nice. In verse 22, the wild beasts, this is iyim in Hebrew. It is its identity is not known. Targum Jonathan and Rashi identified them as cats. Ibn Ezra identified it as falcons, according to Leviticus 11:14, and BDB Dictionary identified it as jackals. And the Septuagint, it translated it to donkey centaurs,
Huh.
whatever that means.
Oh God.
I don't know.
I think it's obvious what that means. I think rather than the body of a horse,
It's
you
the body
have
of
the
a
body of a
donkey.
donkey.
But
Yeah.
tell
Yes.
me, do they get the ears of a donkey too to show that they're the donkey and not just a little pony?
Yeah.
Because the body of a donkey doesn't look that different. It's just the ears.
Oh,
Are they made out of little boys that were smoking cigars and gambling?
There you go.
Sure, why
It's-
not?
It's a religious thing. There's little boys always involved somehow.
There's always. Yes.
Speaking of other things which are unclear and
The
may
most
require
recent-
correction, I do need to correct. In the past, I had made jokes about how obvious this was a prank, that he would call it Mormon, which is only one letter off from moron. Turns out the word moron wasn't coined until 1910. So Mormon was super stupid before morons were.
Before it was cool.
Yeah.
Mm.
Though I do believe there is the name moron is used somewhere in here. I'm trying to remember.
It's
Yes.
like iRobot, moron I.
There is a moron listed as the name in the Book of Mormon. I'm trying to
There
remember
can't be.
where. There is. It actually
Well-
is. You've even got it in the pronunciation guide at the end. I'm trying to remember where it's at.
Oh, it's the name of a location and a king in the Book of Ether.
There we go.
Both connected with the Jaredite people. So maybe the guy who coined the term moron, which I believe the coining has pretty nefarious origins, was like, what is something just so ridiculous and stupid that it'd be very on the nose?
There
Well,
you
I
go.
have the Book of Mormon here. I'm going to open to a random page and point to a random word, which is an exercise you learn to do as more. Whenever you're feeling down, open to a random verse, and that verse will have knowledge for you. I don't know if anybody else got that advice
Yeah,
growing
I
up.
got that.
Yep.
Mm.
This is
Oh,
my
yes.
son Moron, in whom I'm not all that proud.
No, no.
This is my son Moron. He's Mormon but missing a letter.
Yeah.
He's a little
We got
short.
another comment
he's
from
short an eye.
Jet Alone. Jet Alone offers $5 and said, I started hearing parts of this reading that made sense. If I started hearing parts of this reading that made sense, I'd be convinced one of the readers has a different book on top of the BOM by mistake.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. You were looking at my Kindle, weren't you?
Then another comment. Another comment from the Raven 200, $9.99 says, we got the whole crew. We got Aaron, Shannon, Tomer, Ivory, and we even got Matt Dillahunty's little brother, Jim Hot Snowahunty.
Oh.
I got paid a lot of money to do this. Your words can't hurt me. So
There you go.
They sure as hell couldn't do any
Oh.
more damage to him than that razor didn't do.
I can now afford the therapy to recover and more. So
There you
And
go.
then one last comment from Debunk. I love that name. Debunk. It says, off topic, but can Jimmy wear a long wig and dye his beard blue for the next show?
well, I did this for 250 patrons. You all want to get me 500 patrons between now and the next one. I'll make it happen.
There you go.
All right, and then we got another one from the Raven 200, offers $4.99. It says, I'd pay to have an audiobook of Shannon's grandma voice reading H.P. Lovecraft.
If somebody pays me to do it, I will do it.
Fun fact,
promise.
H.P. Lovecraft couldn't write Southern folk to save his
Nope.
life.
Absolutely not.
I just found a random Book of Mormon verse generator. And I put it to the test. This is the one verse I got. But I, Jacob, shall not hereafter distinguish them by these names, but I shall call them Lamanites that seek to destroy the people of Nephi. Sorry, this is a spoiler. And those who are friendly to Nephi, I shall call Nephites, or the people of Nephi, according to the reigns of the kings. Make
Wow.
that apply to anybody's problems. I dare you. Because that was the promise. You could open up to a random verse and it would somehow apply to the problems you're going through in life. And this is a very patriarchal church. So most of the men opening these books to do this thing were trying to solve their erectile dysfunction. You tell me how this solves anybody's erectile dysfunction.
You separate the one type of porn from the other type of porn.
Hmm.
You call them different names also.
What do you
There you
call
go.
what do you call like when a Nephite fucks a Lamanite in porn? Is that like what's the term?
Incest.
Apostate.
It actually is incest. Incest would be correct. Early enough.
Yeah. All right. Chapter 24. Who's reading?
Wait, you want to do it about the dragons, right?
Oh, the dragon. Sorry, I
yes.
am so sorry. I can't believe I
Definitely.
skipped
Yes,
that.
Yeah.
dragons.
I got
Yeah, so-
distracted by Jimmy being weird. Okay.
So
Is this
in
your
He-
first time here? What the fuck?
Go, Tomer.
So in Hebrew, it's tanim. Modern Hebrew means jackals, and the Septuagint translates hedgehogs, apparently, and Vulgate as sirens. The word, however, could have the meaning of tanin, which is a type of serpent or sea monster. And DDB Dictionary, I think it writes erroneously as tanim, which is serpent, dragon, or sea monster.
Well, I like just dragons in pleasant palaces better, not hedgehogs. That's rude.
We will get to hedgehog apparently in the next chapter. But I will also like to note that For I Will Destroy is an addition. This is an addition by Smith. Yeah. Again, I don't know why.
You know, I once had a coworker who's Mormon, and we talked about, you know, different things that were in the Book of Mormon. And I asked him, I said, so when it talks about satyrs, you know, half human on the upper half and goat for the lower half, you know, what is your thought on that, as far as translation and all that, you know, apologetic crap? And he had no answer for it, and
Nope.
and he just said, well, it's a translation error. I said, but they say the word wild goat later in the Book of Mormon. I mean, if it was really written by a Jew at, you know, 500 BCE, wouldn't, you know, why did the King James Version 1600 mistranslation come into it? And he said, I don't know if that's a true thing. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, I don't think it's a mistranslation per se, because even the BDB dictionary renders it as satyr or demon, and I think it is described in the Bible as a sort of satyr.
Most of the time
zoned
when
out.
I would get asked questions like that, my answer would be, it's a metaphor. And then I would just make up what it meant.
My dad would just say it was written so you would understand today. But anyway, I zoned out. Tomer, you were saying there are donkey dragons?
Donkey centaurs.
Donkey dragons? Like on Shrek?
Shrek.
Donkey dragons?
Yeah, I didn't get the reference.
That's all right.
There's a movie called Shrek.
It's a Shrek reference.
Yeah, I know Shrek. I know.
He mates
Don't
with the
cast me on
dragon,
this.
and then the children are donkey dragons.
Yeah.
Prophecy fulfilled. They never said in the Bible it wouldn't be in an animated movie.
That's
I guess
right.
not.
So another couple of comments. We have Deviant Outcast says,
Yay, they're back.
For the panel, to Joseph Smith about Reformed Egyptian, I'd like to say, and I have no idea what the hell that's supposed to mean.
Hang on, is that the little dinosaur jumping game that you
That's
play?
Egyptian
and Google
script.
Chrome doesn't
Yeah, that's
have
hieroglyphs,
internet
I
connection.
Obviously demonic, but that's
Those are hieroglyphs.
Yeah, there's a hieroglyphs. I don't know.
Deviant Outcast, you're gonna have to help us
I don't
out.
know what they say, but
I
recognize them.
just put in the private chat what it says.
Yeah, I was just going to say. Yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Okay. Oh,
Put it in.
yeah.
There
Somebody
it is.
else pronounced this crap. Tomer, you pronounce that.
What?
It's
I
full
can-
of
I
F
can-
and Vech, so yeah.
Eche en
Eken
semenech
semenech.
eneken is gemeni enek, I think.
It's Anakin Seaman, Anakin Skywalker. It's not that hard. Fucking
And-
Christ.
And
Yeah.
something about Shrek.
I forgot they were speaking American there.
That's right, American.
And then Bob Avec Chevieux, and that's French, what I can't pronounce, says, where can I buy Aaron Ra's cup? That shit looks sick. Thank you.
Oh wow.
I have
that is
no
cool
idea
stuff.
where this was a gift.
I think I last saw that cup in your spicy ramen video.
Possibly. Deviant Outcast, you have embellished it. I do not listen to you. Had some fun and did some translating. It's pronounced Acme. Yeah, never mind. I'm not going to do that. The Raven 200 for $9.99 says, Jimmy looks like he's about to school me on Exodus 21. Jimmy looks like he's about to tell me, stop, you're done. One more.
No. You're done, jackass.
Jimmy looks like Matt Dillahunty's evil twin. Do Aaron Ra's evil twin next.
He'll be back next year then.
Yeah, I was
Aaron,
saying-
wait, is Aaron Ross evil twin? Is it gonna be Aaron without a mustache?
I think
That could
Aaron
be.
Ross, well, he's going to have the
Oh,
long hair to
no.
pull it off, though.
I'm 2 to 3 years away from my hair being that long again.
Yeah.
But I've done the entire thing now on YouTube. I had that long of hair not forever
Yeah, you
ago.
did.
I've done
Yeah.
all of it. I've done the whole
Okay.
spectrum of hairs.
Last I
Mhm.
saw of your long hair, it was about 4 years ago, Jimmy.
Well, that means you took a break watching my content for 3 years, but thanks for that. I'm just kidding. That's fine. I don't care. I'd take a break from my content too. Fuck.
Are we reading today?
I had legs.
No, actually.
Yes.
All right. Was that a scold in my direction?
Now I know for sure it's not my fault that these take forever.
For the record, we've done an
Yes.
entire chapter in 36 minutes. Usually
Yes.
it takes us a chapter an hour. I would like to state that the system I advocated for has been working deliciously, and I've only made, I think, one dick joke so far. So,
Yes. And now
suck
2.
it.
So now, yes, as you've
I've
taken
made,
us
I've
on
made
a
more sex
10-minute
jokes than Jimmy
pageant.
this time around.
That's true.
Oh, God.
I'm just
All
waiting
right.
for the thanks and the praise, please.
Thanks.
None?
Praise.
Somebody?
I don't worship
Are you of
people.
good report or praiseworthy?
I
I do not
Yeah.
worship people. Sorry.
bet your ass.
Hmm. Oh, God, hear the words of my
Oh.
mouth. Oh,
I'm gonna go get a
God,
drink.
Hear the words of my mouth.
Then Majestic P Beck
I need to do the same real
offers
quick.
$20 Canadian, says, thanks for the laugh, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Majestic P Beck.
Hmm.
All right. So I Shannon, did you want to read
Of
in
course.
Jimmy's absence
I always
while he goes and gets liquored up?
so I come in second here. Okay. All right. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, from far unto the ends of the earth, and they shall return to their lands of promise. And the house of Israel shall possess them, and the land of the Lord shall be for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives unto whom they were captives, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in that day. Wow, we had one finally. In that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. And it
Hard
shall come
bondage.
to pass too in that day that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. And the Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, the scepters of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. The fir trees rejoice at thee, and also the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. I know they mean nobody coming to cut us down, but still, no feller has come up against us. Hell from
Well, there was that one city feller. He was
how appropriate that I got to read that one. Okay. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us?
Okay.
Romero.
Yes. Before we begin, verse 2, he inserted here from far unto the ends of the earth.
Hmm.
Yeah. Why?
to show that he's
I'm
doing
lost
something.
for words. I'm lost for
Yeah.
words.
Yeah, it's odd that it's like it's very clear that he's copy pasting from the King James Bible here. It's very clear. When he is making additions, isn't he basically daring somebody to prove him that he plagiarized this shit? Right?
It's either that or else he's saying, well, the King James version, because as far as it's translated correctly, we believe in it. So that's where they didn't translate it correctly. They forgot this part. And so it's him saying, see, I'm more of a prophet than the guys who put the Bible together.
He's obviously talking about the new world, ends of the earth.
The ends of the earth. Yeah, of course.
And he's speaking to flat earthers.
It's funny to me that we understand that the Gospels, for example, the story of Jesus was clearly written with an eye towards the Septuagint prophecies. Very clearly, some details of Jesus's life were massaged in order to fit into the Old Testament prophecies. And Joseph, we see him in real time doing the exact same thing for prophecies about America in Isaiah. We get to see it in the Gospels when they were written, 1800 years ago, and now we get to see it when this was written in 1800s. I love it.
I got another comment from Bernie Cranewow. Says Shannon's voice tone is impressive. Made me instinctively fear for my gay ass is finally going to hell.
Oh, no.
Very theocratic, very cool.
Thank you for
Theatric.
the compliment, and I'm really frightened of what you just said. Oh my God.
You've instilled the fear of God in me.
I'm making gay people fear me. Holy
You
shit.
have become that which you have sought to destroy.
Oh my God. That's very frightening. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. So in general, in this chapter, so verses 3 to 21, this is the proverb, quote unquote, about the death of the Babylonian king, just in context with Isaiah. Verse 4, it shall come to pass, this is another edition. I don't know.
Of course it is. See, it's Joseph Smith. You can't have it going so long without any "it came to passes." He has to say that. It's his little byword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
a little byword.
That word in.
I should comment that the how here it actually is in connection with the proverb, quote unquote, or the lamentation, because this is a question which is typical at the beginning of biblical lamentations. For example, in the book of Lamentations and in the David's lamentation. So it's a parody of a lamentation against the Babylonian king.
Okay.
So the golden city ceased. So in Hebrew, it's read Madheva, which is a hapax legomena. The translation to gold derives from the Aramaic of dahav, which means gold, and several commentators agree on this. However, in the Isaiah scroll, the word is malhava. There is a Dalet and Resh confusion again, which means boisterous or pride. Is in Mormonism anything relating to Golden City? I just asked because it sounds like something that Mormons will latch onto.
It is a Mormon thing because they say that the celestial kingdom is the golden city. The streets are paved with gold and all that shit. But yeah.
Which doesn't provide a lot of traction for your car. I don't know why we would want golden streets. The Raven 200.
You get cars. You have chariots up there. Yeah.
The Raven 200 offers $4.99. Says, before I dip out, just want to say I'd love to see an anime fight between Joseph Smith and Muhammad. I placed my bet for winter on Muhammad.
There you go.
Unless it's stick pulling, then Joe's got him.
And then Joe's got it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Stick pulling?
Jeff, that's fun.
That was his big thing that he did.
Yes.
You put the butt, you sit on the floor, you've got your knees up, but your feet against
kind of
the
ruining
person.
it, Shannon.
You're across from each other. You grab a hold of the bow, you have your hands opposite each other, and then you pull. And whoever flies over and lands on top of the other one, they're the loser.
Yeah.
It's very sexual.
You kind of ruined it by explaining it because everybody else thought we were saying he gave excellent hand jobs.
That's basically the start of it. You watch that, especially if you go to like the Work of the Glory movie, the first one, and they show a stick pulling thing. They have it in slow motion. This whole thing between him, you know, and you got this just really pretty actor playing Joseph Smith because they always do. And of course, most of the sexual chemistry in the whole film is between Joseph and Hiram. But anyway, so he's got this whole stick pulling contest, and of course he wins in all three of them. And the other guy lands on him on his just glistening chest in all three of them. You know, it's very sexual.
What was this? What was this movie you were talking about? The
sounds
Power
like
of
it
the
needs
Glory
music
Hole?
from.
It's called The Work and the Glory. It's a, yeah, I know. It's a series of books actually written by Gerald Lund. And he wrote them using experiences that we all have heard about in Mormonism. He applies them all to this one family, and then he gives this whole history of it. And it's like this 8-book series or something, and the books are forever big. And big best-selling thing in Mormons, you know.
Didn't they get like some pretty famous actor? I feel like the actor who played Sawyer in Lost was in it.
All right, I got something
I
I have
don't
to have. I have to hear Tomer. We all know how to say it, but I don't think Tomer will know how to say this. This is this is a comment from John Klein for $5.
Well,
Take it away.
there is the like apostrophes above this. I don't know if I can read this, but I'll try. Anal nafrach oth baisis bethad dochel denma. I don't know.
Okay, so maybe he didn't get every single syllable exactly right, but he basically said the thing.
Is that something? I don't know. Do I need to
wanna
feel
know what it
bad?
means. I want to know what it means. Yeah.
It's the charm of making. It's a spell in Gaelic.
Ah.
Oh, that's why it starts with anal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why does it start with anal? Sounds pretty Gaelic.
The charm of love making.
Okay, and I wanted to mention I didn't read
By
this,
the way,
but I
Shannon, when it comes to stick pulling,
What?
I think, Ivory, I think you may have a delay.
when it,
A
I'll just say
significant
this real
one.
quick.
Yep,
yeah, it could be.
Yep.
definitely.
Okay, and I didn't
Okay.
I didn't comment on this, but in verse 3 about the hard bondage, it's actually you could read it as hard labor or hard service. So
I just figured it's slavery.
yeah. And verse 9 here, the hell is Sheol again, the underworld of the dead in the Hebrew. And it stirreth up the dead for thee. So the dead is translated from Rephaim, while some commentators like Ibn Ezra, David Kimchi, and Joseph Caspi render this word as the dead. Others, like Rashi, the Septuagint, and Targum Jonathan, wrote that these are the mighty ones, or the giants, named after the Raphite clans, who are giants.
Tight.
So yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, I'm done.
So, Shannon, in regards to the stick pulling, it just made me think. It sounds like they need to add the music from Top Gun on the volleyball scene.
That or one of those, those like slow ballads, like no, actually more like the movie Ghost. Is that the one? Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi
Unchained
Goldberg.
Melody.
We could just do
The-
bad porn
yeah.
jazz.
Do that, yeah.
And
you know, every Cub Scout, the Wolf Den gets taught how to do stick pulling. Every single one in the church.
Oh yeah.
I actually never.
World champion
The
right
only
here.
other thing
I never did it. Not once. I taught myself how to stick pull, but that's not what we're talking about.
I should say, you know what? It's probably mostly those in Morador,
Mhm.
in the Mormon corridor here.
Where
now
we
that I think
lived,
about it.
my dad was often the bishop, and he would shut down a lot of fun things. Like you weren't allowed
Yeah.
to play dodgeball either. He was like, that's just for the older kids to be shitty to the younger kids, which is pretty true. But then also we weren't allowed to watch like the anime. He wouldn't let people skip doing lessons and just put on like the animated Book of Mormon movies. He had all kinds of weird rules like that.
We had one who didn't like the Book of Mormon movies because he's like, I just don't think that Jesus should look like He-Man. And so
Some people would say that you can't because of their copyright. Like the copyright doesn't allow them to be played in church or something, which also doesn't make any sense. You can bring your movies to places to play. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. All right.
I see that Ivory Darkness put in a note that says, "I'll wait for Tomer to finish for my comment," and then we all started talking.
No, Ivory got it
He
in.
left.
He got it in.
Ivory's call was like delayed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I got another comment from Jet Alone for $50. Thank you very much for that. Says this is one of the few think tank type panels on the net where discussing the work makes it more confusing rather than shedding light on the thoughts of the people who managed to keep their whiskey drowned hands steadied enough to write this crap down.
And your point is?
And hey, look, like that's what these are the Isaiah chapters. Everybody fucking hates these, but it's written in the book, so we got to get through it. Well, yeah,
I like them because they're written better than anything Joseph Smith wrote in the rest of the book.
Everybody
we
who
got to
is
give it
seeking
that.
to read the whole book through hates the Isaiah chapters, which is most Mormons.
Just
but,
think about how bad
Tomer
your
gets to like
scripture-
pop in just for fun, and then he gets to fuck off when we have to read the rest of the 450 pages.
Yeah.
Just see how bad this shit is when you read the Quran or you read the Book of Mormon, and they both make the Bible look good.
Yeah. Pretty sad. Really
Jet-
bad fan fiction.
Jet, stop trying to watch the show sober and it'll all make way more sense.
There you go.
And hey, and look, for anyone who's like, hey, we haven't had very many came to passes, and the only ones we've had have said, and or therefore it will come to pass.
There have been two.
Just hold
I
your
got
breath.
to say two.
Hold your breath.
Yes.
We're gonna get there. I know y'all
We
are
will.
hungry for more came to passes, but we're just not there in the book yet. We gotta
Peter,
get
you should
through
add
one
another
more
one.
chapter.
Yeah. I got to read one twice.
Did I miss one?
It's me.
Play now.
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
I did
You
it
missed
2
one, yeah.
verses in a row, verse 3 and verse 4.
But there come to pass. It's not came and it came to pass.
It
though.
shall
I
come
don't
to
know.
pass
I'm
in
a
that
little divided.
day.
Yeah,
on
but-
this.
And one of them
which
is
way
an
applies?
addition by Joseph.
Don't we just keep them all in one category? Whether it says it shall have come to pass. I mean, does it matter?
No.
Yeah, it's all the yeah.
It needs to be just something
I'm just
to
saying.
pass.
Well,
I don't
these
care who
come to
comes or
passes-
came. They just as long as they pass.
as long as we're keeping track of the coming.
No more constipation. Yeah. It's
And
all
Jet alone.
constipated writing. Yeah.
Jet
We
alone
should
makes
talk
a
about that
comment.
time Joseph asked Emma for a pass to come.
Hmm.
That's how
Jet al-
polygamy started. Anyway.
And then a comment
Wow.
from Jet Alone says that's a commentary on JS and his familiar, by the way.
Yes.
And then we have another comment from Dr. Mordecai. It says Cassius Marcellus Jones.
No, I think that's his name.
That's all of that is his name, and he's giving
Yeah.
$2. Okay, so that's
He's
not a
just-
comment.
he's just no.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
Just a
thank you very
Onwards.
much for that.
You've been tipped.
Yes. We go
Real
onwards.
quick,
Shall I?
how's my delay?
We can't. We don't know.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna count down from 3, and you, when I say 1, say now. 3, 2, 1. Well, this so
Now.
far is a really bad delay.
not great.
It's terrible. It's like 8 seconds. I started speaking again before your delay was completed.
So how is Tomer all the
Okay.
way over in Israel able to keep up? And you're in the same country as the rest
Dude,
of us.
I'm practically your neighbor, but I get 6 frames per second. What is this shit? The fuck is going on? It's this app you
think,
all use. It makes no sense.
It's called having good
think my,
fibers.
I think my computer's just getting old.
Tamara, I have fiber. I've got fucking whatever it's called. They're blasting light in here, and I could throw a rock to Aaron's house from here.
I
doesn't
have
look like you have
fiber. I
one.
eat bran flakes and everything.
Right. This thing's.
Onwards.
I'm not even bald. It just hasn't rendered my hair yet.
All right.
That's called denial, my friend.
I'm proud of
And
that
John
joke.
Klein adds for $5. You shall not pass.
Oh, you got
With
you
all
got to
those
say it in
comments, you
Gandalf
will not
voice.
pass.
You have to say that in Gandalf
Okay.
voice, Aaron.
You shall not pass.
There we go.
Fly, you fools.
There we go. Best scene. One of
You
the best
have
scenes.
my sword.
Wrong scene. All right. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. The noise of thy vials is not heard. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the
Lucifer
morning?
being a not real name.
I'll get to that.
Oh, thank you,
Hey,
Premier.
don't interrupt me. Art thou cut down?
Wow, Jimmy, that's very respectful.
It was very
Thank
well
you,
timed.
Jimmy.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, you got a
You
mute
are
button. I know you know how to use it.
You are
just so you
impugning the
know,
integrity of this panel of scholars.
the mute button is why you only heard the one. And I was reaching for it, but then she said, "Don't interrupt me," and I stopped reaching for it.
I'm so sorry,
You're
Shannon.
gonna make me fall out of my chair again.
Art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and shall consider thee, and shall say, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms, and made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, and opened not the house of his prisoners? Oh, the kings of the nations, yeah, all of them lie in glory, every one of them in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and the remnant of those that are slain thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
Okay, so let's go back to verse 11 about the brought down to the grave. So it
Can
could
I,
also be read.
Tomer, before
Sure.
you continue, I don't want us to lose the point of the passage before we get into like the nitty gritty of the Hebrew in this. I want to point out really quickly, there's a deeper point of like crazy Mormon theology that comes into play that leverages these verses, and that is that Lucifer is this fallen angel who asked or who wanted to have the same glory as God. But the way that this plays out in the whole Mormon parlance and theology and mythos is that Satan and Jesus were like brothers, like came from the same heavenly parents, brothers, and God had the plan that is what we went through. And then Lucifer presented a plan to God and said, hey, let's go with my plan instead. There will be no pain, there will be no suffering, there will be no sickness, there will be no freedom of choice or agency, but all of your children will come back to live with you after the mortal existence. And God was like, but the kicker for it all was that, as according to this passage, Lucifer wanted the glory of God. He wanted to be elevated to the same level of God. So that little bit of haughtiness, God was like, no. I want all of my children to suffer. I want them to get cancer. I want them to stub their toes and lose their car keys. And I want them to be able to decide whether they want to follow me or whether they want to have dark skin. So God decided to go not with Lucifer's plan, and Lucifer was just so miffed that's when he went down to Satan and took a third of the host of heaven with him. So it's pretty similar to like other Christianity, but the like Mormonism has like a bunch of extra details added into the story.
They do. And Mormons say that Jesus was, or Jehovah, as he was known pre-earth life, is the first one born of Heavenly Father as a spirit, and that Lucifer was the second, and then everybody else came later. Yeah.
It's interesting how, though, most of your experience until you get quite a bit older of that concept of the glory of God, until you get like into Elders Quorum at minimum, the glory of God is just treated as Satan wanted credit. Like he wanted to be credited for it. Like he wanted people to know it was his idea. And then it's not until later that they start to morph that into other shit. And so you like grow up also thinking like getting credit for doing things is bad, which is sort of true of Mormons too, where it's like, hey, all of your talents and stuff, use it for the church and ask for nothing for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I got another comment from Blue Collar Red who says Tomer has more than earned the right / punishment to stay for the rest of this shit.
Great.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to interpret if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but thanks, I guess.
I know that feeling.
I try my hardest, but thank you very much.
At the end, you could be one of the people who can say, I, Tomer, read the entire Book of Mormon. Don't you want that privilege?
No.
Thus saith I, Tomer.
Thus
Having been
saith
born with goodly
no.
parents.
Thus saith I, Tomer, according to Rashi. Yeah, that's me basically.
All right, I'm
so-
going to read a little bit if you don't mind.
Wait,
Wait,
he's got
Tomer's not
commentary.
done.
I don't have I have my commentary, Aaron. Please.
Oh my gosh.
Shut
Yeah.
up, Aaron. Shut up.
You heard this right, God damn it, Aaron.
How dare you? Do not speak over Tomer. How could you?
Is Aaron threatening Tomer with a staple gun now?
I think it was me.
Is that the
Whoa.
punishment
Me
that
with a
Blue
staple
Collar
gun.
Red talked about?
Tomer, you have the floor. I apologize for my co-host's rudeness. Please go, Tomer.
Okay. Okay. So, verse 11, brought down to the grave. It could also be read as your pomp is brought down to Sheol, like the JPS translation. The Septuagint translates to Hades, and Vulgate translates to hell. Yeah. I think it's because of different cultures. The Septuagint is from the Greek world. Hades.
I'm going to take advantage of that in our Bible blaspheming when we have discussions on Sheol, because there are so many distinctions between the Jewish and the Christian interpretations of the afterlife and all of that. I can't wait till we're still in fucking Genesis, but we'll get there.
I'm curious, Tomer, the term vials in here, as far as I'm aware, the way that we would interpret a viol is an instrument from like the 14th century. Like, what is there any commentary on what viol meant in the translation?
I think he
for
said
the purpose of
Sheol.
reading here?
No, he said
No,
veal.
it's the
Viol,
noise of the
V-I-O-L.
vials. I
vials,
pronounce it
vials.
vials.
Wait,
but-
was it
In
what
11.
verse was this?
In
verse
verse 11, the
11.
pomp is brought down. The noise of the vials is not
Ah,
heard.
Yeah, it reads here. I think it's Neville, which is according to BDB Dictionary, it's a musical instrument, either a
Yeah.
portable harp or a lute, guitar,
Yeah.
with bulging resonance body at lower end.
Is that
yeah.
would the? I mean, this was written in like 500 something BCE, right? Is that an instrument that would have existed at the time, or is that just a like post Enlightenment translation of a musical instrument that they had at that time? I'm just trying to
Isn't
understand.
this
the
how it's
anachronism here.
described in the original Isaiah?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's in Hebrew it's nevalecha, and nevel is the Hebrew word for harp, at least in modern Hebrew. But I can check really quickly on
Because
Amos Chacham here.
it dates back to the 15th century. So it's very likely this got put in just as a translation.
I think it's just this a general string instrument, and I think
Yeah.
it was as such. I think it was there were instruments like this at the
So,
time.
but vials. Oh, okay. So I'm just curious. Like that's the root of my question is vials in a King James translation. Is that an anachronism that was put in by King James translators?
I don't know what veals are actually. Like
It's
I mean,
like-
it's like
it's
a
like a
predecessor
yeah,
to a
yeah.
violin, like a
Yeah.
a fiddle.
I think so.
They're bowed, fretted, and stringed instruments is what they are. Yeah.
I think so. I actually
If I'm
don't know. I mean,
remembering-
I'm sort of a music guy, but I'm not very familiar with ancient music.
Yeah, because I mean, the oldest instruments that you have are flutes more than anything. And so, yeah.
Yes,
can check
just before we started broadcasting, Tomer said he shouldn't fiddle with his guitar, and I said, yes, you should only fiddle with a fiddle.
Yeah, Aaron is a very comedic genius here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even more so when somebody points it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Shit.
So let's get to the meat of this, which is Lucifer, son of the morning. So in Hebrew, it's Hillel ben Shachar. Hillel is a hapax, and it is composed of the root hey lamed lamed, which in the Bible means to shine. For example, Job 31:26, 41:10, and Isaiah 13:10. And also comparing it to the Akkadian Elelu, which means to bright, and Elu, bright. The Septuagint translates Hillel as Eosphos, dawnbringer, which is the Greek name for the morning star, which is Venus. And the Vulgate translates it to Lucifer, which means carrier of light. Most Jewish commentators also understood Hillel ben Shachar as the morning star. Early church fathers like Origen, Tertullian, and St. Augustine have described Lucifer as the devil, possibly based on Luke 10:18. I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
Now, Tomer, it was always my understanding that when Isaiah wrote of this, and I'm not talking about what Joseph Smith's interpretation of Isaiah writing this, but when Isaiah was writing this, he was not talking about, certainly not the Christian concept of the devil, which didn't exist in Isaiah's time, that Isaiah was actually criticizing Babylonian astrology. Is that not correct?
Let me check here with Amos Chacham what he says here. I think he talks. I think that Hillel ben Shachar is a nickname for the Babylonian king. He writes that this is a poetic name for the morning star. In his prideness, the Babylonian king had identified himself with his glory and his prideness to Hillel ben Shachar, which is the Venus star. It could be that the Babylonian king, who was an astrologer or a star worshiper, made this plant to be his god, and claimed that the power of this star controls him.
And Hillel ben Shachar, doesn't that directly translate to Lucifer or Lightbringer, son of the dawn?
In JPS, it translates to "O shining one, son of dawn." I've explained that Hillel is means to shine, and Shachar, which it means dawn. So, "Oh, shining one, son of dawn."
Okay.
Considering the new haircut,
I think with your commentary?
I think that sums up Jimmy. Oh, you shining star.
Okay. Very
Minute
good.
Right
Very good.
offers a comment for $5. Says, can't watch live, but I'll listen back later. Love this show and all you guys, except you, Jimmy. Insert F expletive you.
I've told people on my channel to not send super chats with compliments. Just tell me to go fuck myself or something. The best part is now it's taken hold, and I can't tell the difference between a person who hates me and who loves me anymore. It's amazing. It's the best.
I quite like that, actually.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
Yeah, I occasionally have people introduce themselves to me like, "Hey, fuck you very much."
Yeah. I'm so uncomfortable with compliments, but insults, it's just like I'm home with my family.
Yeah. Except, do they swear at you though, or do they just say like F word?
No, the spirit of swearing is there, but somehow it's not saying the actual word would be the problem.
That needs to be a goal
problem.
for like a subscriber goal for this show is all Mormon only expletives.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm pretty sure this panel could pull it
the
off
front
pretty
door.
well.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
What the fetch?
What the fetch?
Who you calling a cootie queen? You
Don't make
licker.
That's just
Well,
never going to be
dang
a
it.
thing.
And the HE double top stop 6. Yeah.
You're making me heckin' angry.
Yeah. I am so freaking mad at
Yellow
you.
sticks.
Jeez,
You know what? I got my mouth washed out with soap for saying "dang it" once. So yeah, that's Mormon for you.
dag nabbit.
Yeah.
I mean, that
By the
at
way,
least
before
makes
we get-
sense. because the concept of the swearing is that it's the word, not the spirit, that matters, which is so fucking stupid. Like, there are so many stories where I'll think of my dad screaming. I'm like, and then my dad was like, "You're a fucking idiot." But I guess he just said "you're an idiot" because he wouldn't have said "fucking." But the spirit of it was there, that it feels like he should have said "fucking."
Yeah.
Like, but he didn't say "fucking," so he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't actually swear, but the spirit of it was there. But it's fine.
All right.
By the way, before we get too far,
go ahead.
Before we get too far past this verse about the star of the morning, I received this recently, and I chose the Paradise Lost theme.
There you go.
Are you a son of
With
the morning?
membership card.
Of the rising sun?
I was born at 4:42 p.m.
Champion of the sun.
Mormon, it's morning somewhere. It's morning.
True.
Well, for me.
I actually haven't finished. I have like a
you have
page.
not.
Yes, I
Go.
have a page of commentary. So be patient, please.
Everybody, shut up.
Okay.
Go,
Oh,
Tom.
I
Give
go
me-
to my desk now.
Tomer's unofficial hype man now.
Thank you.
Okay, verse 13. I will ascend into heaven. So several commentators write that this expression symbolizes the haughtiness of the king as he desires to be above all the people. So not really an ascension to heaven, literally. Mount of the congregation. In Hebrew, it's Ha Moed. Several commentators, like Rashi, Ibn Ezra, and David Kimchi, wrote that this was Mount Zion. Moshe Kimchi, who was David Kimchi's father, wrote that the mountain was in Babylon, and Babylonian inscriptions actually identified Im Harasak as the mountain where the gods had their seat. And in the side of the north, in Hebrew, it's Yarkitei Tzafon, possibly referring to Mount Tzafon, which is identified as Mount Sapan, modern-day Jebel Akra, at the Syrian-Turkish border. And it is also described in ancient Canaanite religion as the home of all the gods. The side of the pit, in Hebrew, it's Yakitei Bo. The phrase also appears in Ezekiel 32:23. Amos Chacham wrote that the pit is a poetic nickname for Sheol, as seen in Psalms 34. David Kimchi wrote that the pit was the grave, and the Septuagint translates the foundations to the earth. Sorry, the foundations of the earth. And I have a reference here from JPS, I think. Here we go. JPS here comments, this is a region of the netherworld reserved for those who have not received decent burial.
Okay.
And verse 18, in his own house. So Targum Jonathan translates in his eternal abode, and most traditional commentators understood the house to mean their graves. And abominable branch. Rashi explains, like a tree sapling which is despised by its owner, who gives it up and uproots it and takes it out, so were you cast out of your grave. And according to Leviticus Rabbah 18:2, this indeed happened to Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah.
Okay.
And finally, the remnant of those that are slain. In Hebrew, it's levush harugim. Septuagint translates with many dead, and Targum Jonathan translates as those hidden among the slain. Most commentators read it as clothing of the slain, and JPS translates it to it as such. So it's not really the remnant, it's the clothing.
Tight. I now have 4 pages of dick jokes. If everybody can shut up for a second.
Yeah.
I come prepared.
Hey, Tomer, actually, I have a question. Tomer, what are the dates of these commentaries? When were these written?
These are medieval commentaries, but
Okay.
these are like authoritative type commentaries. Like they are very wide quote, very well. Sorry, they are very frequently commented. Sorry, my mouth doesn't work.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, they are referenced quite a bit, and they are considered quite important in Jewish studies.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so words from Rashi would be respected almost as much as words from Ozzy.
Yeah.
I respect Ozzy.
Yeah.
No, I
He's
don't.
no longer doing tours.
Okay, Pastor Nephi, so to move forward. I'll go and do things which the Lord has commanded.
That's actually
Oh
pretty
my
good.
god, I want to read in Ozzy's voice now.
Oh no, that's the Lord.
Aaron, I dare you to do it. I dare you.
And we'll get as much out of it. It won't change much.
All right, so we have some comments. So Mark Smith, a new member, offers $5. Says, Jimmy Snow, you are a wonderful and beautiful person. You
Go
are
fuck
kind,
yourself.
intelligent, and caring.
Yeah, fuck you too, buddy.
Yeah, and this reminds me, one of my oldest friends that I've known for so very long. He's a tattooist and a motorcycle mechanic. We used to ride together back in the day. He kind of, a motorcycle gang thing. We used to fight together in that battle game kind of shit I was talking about. And he's kind of a tough, hard, badass kind of a guy. But whenever we're talking on the phone, he always ends the call with "I love you."
Oh, I do that too to a lot of people. And then sometimes I'll just say labia really quick because then people think, like, what did you say? And so it'll just be, I learned this from a guy I used to work at Verizon with. They'd be like, all right, yeah, all right, cool. Talk to you later. Yeah, all right, labia. And then just hang
There's
up.
just something about the way that this huge, long-haired, bearded, tattooed motorcycle gang guy says, "Love you, man."
Love you.
And I know he means it.
That's sweet.
I've known him for 30 some odd years. He has to mean it, right?
Does he live alone? Because I
No.
feel like, I
No,
live.
he's a family guy. He's raised a bunch of kids, and he's a dedicated pet owner and husband and all that kind of shit.
I live
And-
alone and I only work, so I feel like I tell you I love you most of the time we're ending a call or a show or whatever. Love you, buddy. See, I feel like that doesn't sound from, I don't know. This sounds like me, but mine's out of deep loneliness.
Yeah, that's not this guy's problem.
No, apparently not.
Yeah, he's also a swinger at the same time, so this is way not his problem.
Send in your applications for our new project on this channel. I'm going to do an atheist bachelor TV show on Aaron Ross' channel. I'm volunteering his channel for it, and it's going to be great. Send in your apps.
Okay. Jed Alone offers another comment for $5. Says, on the topic of saying versus thinking, do Mormons have a concept of thought crime like other Christians do?
Oh,
Other-
absolutely, yes.
Christians can
God.
hold the Mormons' beer on thought crime. Thought crime's the name of the game, motherfuckers. What are you talking
Holy
about?
shit.
Like Christians do? Christians wish they could do thought crime like the Mormons. Fucking A.
It is
Jimmy Snow has
absolutely
mentioned several times about him worrying about if a bishop could read his thoughts.
Yeah.
You go through that. It's everything is, and that's
Especially the hot
thing
bishops.
that you get through with the temple ceremonies. When you're going through the temple and everything, and the covenants you take, then that's part of what you're covenanting is not to even think bad thoughts. Boyd K. Packer did this whole talk on it that got turned into a film strip. It involves music as well, but this worthy music, worthy thoughts, because whatever thoughts are in your head are just what comes out of your mouth, and as a man thinketh, so is he, all of these kind of things is very, very absolutely what goes on in the Mormon church. I mean, hell, you had in the Miracle of Forgiveness by Spencer fucking Kimball that having the sex dreams at night, you get condemned for that. The kind of dreams you have at night, you get condemned for that because even though
They walked that one back. That specific. They walked dreams
a
back.
little bit. Yes,
Yeah.
because they finally had to understand that no, you cannot control those. But that's the thing is you get told that missionaries who go on their mission, because one of the things you have to do is there's the Doctrine and Covenants, which is another form of scripture for the Mormon church. DNC section 4 is the missionary section, this behold, oh God. I used to have it memorized, but you had to memorize the whole thing. And you get told that when you have a bad thought in your head, you recite that in your head, or you recite the fucking hymns in your head, So I did that on my mission all the time. I mean, it's like I was telling Bryce this on the channel that there was one time that it was in the first week that I was out, and this guy answered the door, very well fit, washboard stomach. He was wearing just shorts, and I froze. And I stood there trying to think of what I was supposed to say. And all I could think of is, I'm going to be in so much trouble for thinking bad thoughts about this really sexy guy who just answered his door. Because that's what fucking happens.
General
Yeah.
authorities have taught that on Judgment Day, you'll be basically a screen's going to come down, and everything you ever did and everything you ever thought that you didn't repent of will be played on the screen, which
Yes.
I take as a challenge to have the most interesting reel. But
Yeah.
There-
Especially because
I
the
made it
ones
weird.
who've done all the bad stuff, everybody gets to see it because it's not just between you and Jesus. This is between you and Jesus and Joseph Smith and every single prophet, every single leader you've had, because they're all judges in Israel, and judges in Israel are the ones who get to go and judge you in the judgment day. Yeah, so
If
you're there
anything in
front of
Mormonism-
47 billion people.
if anything in Mormonism,
So-
think thoughts are where you sin the most.
Yes.
Like it is the most common place for your sinning to happen, and they'll try and teach you like counter things. I know I've made this joke on here before, but I'm going to do it again. There was one of the prophets said he doesn't believe that you can sin while singing "I am a child of God" in your head, and now it's the only way I can get a boner.
There you go.
So I
So,
mentioned earlier that
Jet
I
alone?
used to do.
Jet-
What's that?
I was gonna mention to Ujet alone. There's literally a verse that's gonna come up later. I'm gonna mention it now. Mosiah 4:30. This stupid rhyme that I was taught to me in seminary. Watch your thoughts which are dirty. Mosiah 4:30. That's the first thing that shows that this book is supporting the idea of thought crime. And this other one, hum your favorite hymn. That
Hum your
was
favorite hymn.
that. Yes.
Sing out
Okay.
with vigor and vim. What
They
the fuck is vim?
absolutely believe in thought crime.
Yeah.
I was 13 and I was so proud. I went in front of my quorum or whatever, and I said I went through the grocery line and I didn't look at those nasty pictures once. I was so proud of myself,
Yep.
and that was like a huge thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
So-
actually, there's one more point on this. It goes another layer beyond that too, because in Mormonism we have these things that are called lies of omission and lies of commission. So lies of commission is something you do. Lies of omission are things that you choose not to do, or sins fall in the same category. It can be a sin to omit telling your bishop what you sinned. So if you sinned, or even if you had a thought crime sin and you don't tell your bishop, you are committing another layer of sin because you are lying to your bishop. So not only is like the thought crime a problem, but you covering up the unpure thoughts is an extra step above and beyond. It's layered thought crimes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the most recent super chat's really funny.
And by the way,
Are
Jimmy,
you laughing at the same thing, Walker? It's really good.
And it very much is a favorite hymn for a lot of guys.
Well, I got to read to it. So first, Trevor Gillis offers $5 Australian. It says, "Have any of yous watched the Zeitgeist, the movie documentary 2007?"
Yes, there are some things in it that you need to be aware of because you will arm yourself with bad arguments.
It was one of my first movies that I watched as a high schooler. Like, wow, holy shit! Wait, so Jesus is a myth? Oh my god! And then pretty soon after, I read a Bart Ehrman book, and I was like, oh, that's actually not the academic consensus. Oh, interesting. Oh, there's like a whole field of like biblical like scholarship and things. I never had that thought even occur when I was a Mormon, and I watched that.
Yeah, I actually read one. Or I interviewed one of the consultants for that, D.M. Murdoch, also known as Zachariah S. And whoever, I forget who it was that made that documentary, that consulted with her, and they got lots of valuable information from her. But then they started embellishing their own stuff on top of it, but crediting her as the consultant. So when they say that Jesus is the Son of God and S-O-N really means S-U-N, which of course could not be the case because we know they weren't speaking fucking English.
Right.
Then Acaria S, D.M. Murdoch, her reputation took a massive hit from shit like that, which she never even said.
Wow.
So it's unfortunate.
It's a good movie to exercise your skeptic muscles a little bit, though.
Yeah, for
it
sure.
is.
That's true.
Slick. It's presented well. It's slick as fuck. It has you just spoon feeds you conspiracy theories. It's great.
I'll be back in
and
a
somebody
minute, but
contacted
I'll
me-
freeze my screen like this.
No, why would you do that to us, Jimmy? Oh no!
All right, so the next comment then is Latefte. I have no idea how to say that. For €5 says, I think Aaron and his snakes are trying to one up Ken Ham. Not
Oh,
sure,
you
but
don't-
okay. Yeah,
I think you missed one.
Yeah, you missed one just
That was
above
older.
that.
John Klein.
That was older.
Ah.
Yeah, John Klein, $5. What is your favorite ABBA song?
I don't listen to ABBA, so I can't say.
I don't listen to ABBA either. I'm gonna say
That's only because there was a comment in there. I am the angel of darkness, angel. That's why.
That's
okay.
great.
That's
I-
a different song.
I actually do like listening to ABBA every once in a while, so I'll answer. I would have to say it's "Lay All Your Love on Me." That's my favorite ABBA song.
Okay, sorry. I never seen it like laid, splooged maybe, but okay. Then Sarah Dye offers a comment. Says $5. Did I read? Okay, I did win. So Sarah Dye for $5 says, my TBM mother-in-law once called an idea of my partner and I asinine, with a long emphasis on ass.
Yeah, that's not surprising. And for those who
my
don't
folks
know, TBM means true believing Mormon.
Oh, I was going to
Blue
ask you
Mormon.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for that.
That's for really hardcore Mormons. Yeah. And
So Coffee
most of us have
Mom,
'em.
Coffee Mom, the next comment at $1.99 says, what if your favorite hymn is Hold to the Rod?
Yes. And I say that is it for a lot of missionary boys. Hold to
Hold
the
to the rod
rod
while I
the
lay my love on
iron
you.
rod. Strong and bright and true. Yeah. The
Or as AC/DC
iron
put
rod
it,
is the
let me
word
cut your
of
cake
God.
with my knife.
Yes. Anyway, you're welcome.
Jade 10 offers $10 and says, does this mean that I can stab someone to death and it doesn't count because I'm singing I'm a child of God in my head?
Of course,
been doing
this
it-
is Mormonism. As long as God tells you to do it, you can kill somebody. That's Mormonism.
I
You
could
get that in
easily
the first
imagine
book. Yes,
I could easily imagine some clergyman raping children while singing that song.
absolutely. He absolutely has. There is, I can guarantee there is a bishop somewhere who's done that to a child.
Darn.
I mean,
Okay.
this is an extremely legalistic church. So if you find a loophole like that, you know what? You exploit that loophole. I give
They're
you
very,
permission.
very good at it. They learned a lot from Catholics.
Ooh, ow, that hurt.
Yeah.
Deviant Outcast offers 100 Swedish kroner. I've always found it interesting that everything that feels good or is involuntary, being part of human, is a sin to the fucker who created us. That's love. Fick me in the fontanelle and call me.
Yeah.
That's pretty
God.
good.
All right. I read so many of these comments and then I forget that Jimmy froze his screen and then I look back and see his face like that, thinking that's his reaction, having forgot that he froze his screen. And every time it trips me up. You bastard, Jimmy. He's not even here and he's fucking with me.
Oh my God.
All right. So is that what he did? Did he leave the call and just left that screen like that?
I think
No,
so.
he needed to take care of something real quick.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Shall I read?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yes,
verse
Only
20.
Ozzy Osbourne knows.
And do an Aussie.
All right. All right. Let me see. I don't.
All the way to the end.
I don't have my glasses. But, thou shalt not be joined with him in burial, because thou hast destroyed the land and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned. Prepare
That's
slaughter for his children, the iniquities of their fathers. Iniquity. Sharon!
That is so good, though. I mean, that is really good.
Yeah, it's a great one.
You do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face with the wall of the cities. For I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant of his son and his nephew, saith the Lord. I will make it a possession for the bitterns and the pools of water. I will sleep with the bosom of the destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. Are we having a good time?
I need some more authenticity. We need a bat.
Oh God!
The Lord of hosts
Get one of your
hath
snakes.
sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, that it shall come to pass as I have purposed, so shall it stand. That I will bring the Assyrian in my land, and upon the mountains tread him underfoot, and then shall ye yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from their shoulders. This is the purpose of all the whole earth and into the land that is stretched out upon all nations. For the Lord of hosts hath purposed, and who shall discern? Sharon! and his hand is stretched out. And who shall turn it back? In the year that King Ahaz died, what was his burden? Rejoice not thou, a whole Palestina. Who the fuck is that? Because the rod of him that smote thee is broken. For out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit.
Oh my God, I can't.
Fiery flying serpent. Well, it's going to be another song. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed, and the needy shall lie down in safety. And I will kill the root with famine, and he shall slay the remnant. Howl, O gate, cry, O city, thou whole Palestina, whoever the fuck that is, art dissolved. For there shall come from the north a smoke. Oh, I could use a smoke right now. And none shall be alone in his appointed times.
Oh,
What shall then answer the message of the nations? That the Lord have founded Zion, and the poor, and his people shall trust in it. Fuck me.
wow, that was pretty good.
That's good, Aaron.
A round of applause. Very nice.
Yeah.
So authentic.
Very
You
good,
just needed
very
the
good.
blue sunglasses. Damn.
Okay. So verse 21, prepare slaughter for his children. So in Hebrew, it's matbeach, and it is a hepakzagomena. BB Dictionary and Klein Dictionary translate this word as slaughtering place. And JPS translates prepare a slaughtering block, and NIV prepare a place to slaughter. So it's not really, I don't know if slaughter in English also means a slaughtering place, but it's a place of slaughter.
Okay.
And 23. Oh, good. Okay, 23, bittern. So in Hebrew, it's kipod. Early translations like the Septuagint and Vulgate and traditional commentators understood it to mean hedgehog. And in modern Hebrew, kipod is hedgehog. However,
What is it with these guys about hedgehogs? This is the second time you brought that up, and the other one was about dragons.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, this is a good question.
And
but
how they intersperse with, some things are demons and some things are just goats and some things are hedgehogs.
Right.
Yeah.
Demons and goats and hedgehogs are in the same category.
It's different translations render to different stuff.
Okay.
So However, Isaiah 34:11 mentions the kipod as part of the fowls, and from the context of the verse, it seems like a sort of waterfowl. Professor Yair Hoffman and Amos Chacham identify it as some sort of owl species. In the BDB dictionary here, it reads porcupine from rolling itself together. Yeah. Okay. And 29, Palestina. More accurately will be, in Hebrew, it's Peleshet. More accurately will be the land of the Philistines. Early translations and JPS translated to Philistia, and NIV translates Philistines. And also the Septuagint translates to Allophiles, I think. And the firstborn of the poor shall feed. Could also be read as the firstborn of the poor shall graze, as the JPS and NIV translate. Rashi interpreted the firstborn Bechori to mean princes, while others interpret it as the sons of the poor or Israel in general. And that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
You couldn't do your commentary as Mick Jagger? What the fuck? Just saying. A little fanfare might be nice.
Winter's Scoop comments saying Warren Jeffs quoted Book of Mormon and sang hymns when he essayed kids on his sex altar. He recorded it too.
Oh yeah.
And you know what's especially creepy about that? It was audio recordings.
Oh God.
That's a special kind of kink.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Underage girls. That's
I can't even call it kink. Let me be completely fair.
Yeah,
that's a special kind of perversion.
Yeah, that's not kink.
Torture. It's torture. That's torturing people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then we have another comment from Public Utility. Somebody chooses a name like that. Is the Book of Mormon more or less horrific than the other Abrahamic death cult books of fables? P.S. Peace and love, fellow earthlings.
No, it's the same. It's just the same. There's just as much orders of death and killing from their God as there is in all the others.
I think the Book of Mormon is a very Christian text, whereas like the Old Testament is wrathful and like a very bloody and like disconnected text, whereas everything in this just reads like a Christian's fantasy novel of scripture. This feels a lot softer to me than especially the Old Testament or Quran.
It's a lot less genocidal.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too is you have less of it where in the Book of Mormon is all of it is man-made except for when Christ dies. But all the death and destruction and stuff is perpetrated by man. Whereas in the Old Testament, you've got it with these natural disasters. You have bears, you have, those kind of things, the animals coming in. And so, yeah, there is that too.
And the God of the Book of Mormon is an impotent nothing. He's a bag of jelly. Like he doesn't do anything. Like you said, Shannon, everything that happens in this book is because of the people doing it to the other people. It just so happens that sometimes God is like, hey, you're my chosen people, so you're white now. Right. That's the only power that God has in this book is changing people's skin color.
You're forgetting about arrow dodging power. So
he also appeared as a pillar of fire in the earlier chapters of this book.
Yeah, then he
but he did that in the Old Testament
too.
Yeah, but yeah, he in this the Book of Mormon. There's that layer of what's the word I'm trying to think of? Not culpability, but because that's man saying God told us to do this, not God just saying do this, and so there's that. What's the word I'm thinking of, Bryce?
I'm not sure.
I can't think of it. It's not culpability.
Would anyone like some Mexican food? I did not anticipate it was going to show up so early.
You're so rude. How are you going to send it to us? What? You got a Star Trek kind of thing? Yeah.
Put it in an envelope.
I got stamps. I don't like you.
I got a stamps.com account. What are you talking about?
It's funny that I really haven't met any of y'all, but it's just strange that Jimmy and I we live at like a short drive from each other, and I've driven passed his place probably 5 times in the last year, but we've never met.
We had a plan, and I got real sick that day.
You and I
in
did
preparation
meet,
for my arrival. He got really sick.
I don't know if you remember this, Aaron, but I met you at a hotel room in DC.
We weren't supposed to talk about that.
I mean, I'm not disclosing any of the details of what happened in that hotel room. Those are between you and me, sir.
Why does that all people use hotel rooms in DC specifically for?
They all
That's
learned
how
from
government
Watergate.
works.
Secret gay meetups in DC. It's just like such a cliche at this point.
DC is basically like a open waters yacht. Anything goes there. Everything is legal in DC.
Oh yes, Lindsay, make my bill pass.
You didn't need to create that visual. Think about all of the people who are right now visualizing Lindsey Graham having sex with Matt Gaetz. You didn't have to put the visual of Lindsey Graham having sex with Matt Gaetz and their bodies colliding. You didn't have to put that in people's heads. Their sweaty bodies. You didn't have to do that.
But you know that would never happen because Lindsey Graham is out of high school.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, snap.
That's true.
Okay, so we got another comment from Trevor Gillis, $5 Australian. All together now, God can kiss my arsehole.
If you can find them.
Thank you, Trevor Gillis. And then J.R. Pence offers $5 and says, thank you. I can imagine Mormons I've known find solace in the document inflicted on them through life, so dismantled and left as a shell on the floor.
Yes.
That's our whole
I
job
would
here,
hope so.
right?
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Mm-hmm.
God, I love Mexican food. So good.
Will you stop?
You know what's better than
sucks.
Mexican food?
But
Watching
hold on
somebody
a second.
eat it when none of us can have any. That's
I
so
know.
No,
much fun.
because curiously, I'm going to do the
That'd be
same
the
thing
worst.
Jimmy's doing. Just as soon as he's gone, we're having nachos, but we're not doing like regular nachos. We're doing nachos as a meal.
I got
So we
nachos.
we spread out these huge round restaurant style chips on the plate, and then we cover it all with sausage and hamburger and like very spicy, and I mean through the roof fucking spicy. And then
I'll be the judge of that.
yeah, bring it. Mozzarella, Colby Jack, and all like this, all hand
my
grated,
face.
and jalapenos just for flavor because they can't add anything to the spices we've already put on. We got like this mountain of cheese, and then we microwave that for like a couple of minutes, and it just comes out this huge melted cheese mess of toxicity that I am so looking forward to when this is done.
Anybody else's nipples getting hard?
You got some
Somebody
weird fetishes
please
there,
replace
buddy.
my face with Homer Simpson drooling.
Y'all want some nacho ASMR?
No.
No.
And it goes really good with dark beer.
Mm.
Nothing goes good with beer. Beer's gross.
Says the Mormon, the ex-Mormon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I cannot wait until I actually do meet Jimmy, hopefully in my hometown where we've got a couple of eateries
so
I
you
would
can
love to
kick his
take him
ass?
to.
Hell yeah. Tomera, everybody else likes me. You're the problem.
Oh,
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Jimmy,
Let's see who survives on the
Jimmy,
panel
I've been
next week.
testing this fourth wall barrier. Jimmy, I've been testing this fourth wall barrier right here. I'm gonna see if I can punch through it right now.
Give it a shot. Give it a go.
So we got Jed Alone has another comment. Says every turn today has been a left, and somehow the latest stop has been a hotel room in DC.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, you know you're on the right trail.
Is it weird that I'm excited that we're going to be back to the Book of Mormon next week?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
it's a certain type of
I do enjoy the fuck out of
I-
this show, and in
well, no,
all
hang on.
sincerity, I am glad that Jimmy has me on. That I'm going to be doing his show tomorrow at 7 Central, so
Thanks,
that'll
man.
be 8 o'clock Eastern, and what is that, like 5 p.m. Pacific, I think. But anyway.
yeah.
So I'm always happy to do that. There's always something to argue about, like forever. and I don't want to dedicate whole videos to it. I guess it would be, like financially lucrative if I did just create videos for every stupid thing somebody says to me, but I prefer to be on the fly. And so I like to have real-time conversations with people. And after the last confrontation that I had with somebody that thought that they would take me on in real time, I don't think anybody's ever going to do that again. So
I don't know, man. There's always you always think, oh man, today I found the bottom of the barrel of stupid, and then the next call comes in.
This went, I don't know if anybody saw it. It went on for 2 hours. Where this guy told me he knew more about evolution than I did, and he didn't know what it is.
Arn, but it was really mean of you to have him Google that in real time, and then in his face it says that he's wrong. That was mean.
Oh, snap. Oh.
That's hot.
I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it.
What I need you to do, Aaron, between today and tomorrow is like the links up and stuff. Go incite the mob. Go get them to show up to the show and call in, man. You got all kinds of people who want a piece of you. Yeah. Tell Jaronism it's time for him to reemerge. That fucking idiot.
I just don't have any patience for professional liars. If you can't show anything that gives it that shows that there's any credence to what you say, why the fuck am I even talking to you?
I have patience for anybody who's willing to just pay my rent like that.
Well, my issue with the patience is if you're sincere, and that's what matters to me, right? Then I want to help you understand this. Or if I was incorrect, I damn sure want to be corrected, right? Show me how I'm wrong, because I don't want to stay wrong. But believers do want to stay wrong, and I'll never understand that. Anyway, we got another comment from Isaac Raskin, who says, "Sorry, Sharon, I could never finish the song after hearing George Santos sing it."
True. You know what? Write a different one. Write it for something else. Give me something I can snark to. And
George Santos wrote that song. And and he's Batman.
Of course.
And he's Batman.
Yeah.
No, seriously, Isaac, you write me one for something else. Make it something I can be snarky about. And I sing an alto voice the best. So
okay, so next week then at this same time, we'll be doing second Nephi 25.
Nephi.
Just as a little teaser, if I read the first sentence of the chapter heading for chapter 25, it says, Nephi glories in plainness. After we just read all that shit from Isaiah. And then it finally says, Isaiah's prophecies will be understood in the last days. Swing and a fucking miss, Book of Mormon.
and if I could just throw out one other message, if you have friends who are Mormon and they're sincere in their Mormonism, have them listen into the show. Have them participate.
I
don't know.
They won't, though. They won't, because it's anti.
But also,
somebody
like,
send this to Brian Hales.
I feel like this is more putting on my old Mormon hat, my TBM whisper. I would have an easy time dismissing a show like this. This would be cathartic. This is cathartic for ex-Mormons. I wouldn't say this is a place that like a Mormon's going to show up and be like, these guys are making some good points, even if we are. And that's partially my fault because of the penis jokes. But, penises are funny. Well, what am I going to do about it?
Whose car is off?
Yeah, by the way, go turn off your car alarm.
That's my neighbor.
Whose car is that?
It's my neighbor. Sorry. Can't do anything about it.
Well, there is a mute button.
You can mute.
Mute button.
That's fine. You go. Don't want to hear
It's
from me.
awful. It's so bad.
I was about to go out my front door. I thought it was my car.
That's how bad it is in our ears.
I think I can.
It bothers me,
figure out
Jimmy,
what Shan's saying here.
that you would say that and that there's a chance that it would be true.
Yeah, no, look, here's the thing, man. That's what being a Mormon is, though. Like, the main thing you are taught, one of the main things you're taught is how to dismiss criticism and how to dismiss good points and all that stuff.
That's how
is not
cults work. They
Right.
have to have that ability in the members to be able to
Exactly.
immediately say, this is anti, this is apostate, and
Right.
immediately any information that comes in hits a fucking brick wall. That's how cults work.
And they
But
would
I
hide
have
behind
to
other things.
contest.
Like, I would have heard your points, except you guys were swearing, and that's against my religion. So I left because you were swearing, or you were drinking coffee, or whatever shit.
In the confrontation of philosophies here, I regularly engage ardent believers. I mean, it is like it is like riding an escalator underwater into a swamp. I feel like I've descended into madness, into a sanitarium somewhere. But I'm ready to have that argument, listen to all of the bullshit, and try to reason with these people and show, and I can show on the fly everything that's wrong with what they just fucking said. But all they do is wait for the keyword that lets them turn off their brain to everything
Yes.
else, so that now I just become Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and like you demonstrated the reason why when you first had me onto the show, when you made a reference to the Mormons, it being legal to shoot Mormons in the state of Missouri until 1978. And I was like, well, that's actually Mormon propaganda. Let's actually talk about what really happened there. You had nothing to lose in being wrong in that exchange. Then we went through and you're like, oh, I guess I learned something. But consider the opposite of this. When you're challenging somebody to this, what do they have to lose if they are wrong and you're right? Probably everything they have ever known, probably all of their family, maybe their jobs. They have so much to lose if they're wrong. You, Aaron, what do you have to lose if you're wrong? Oh, I am going to change the way that I think about something, and therefore I am no longer wrong. There's no stakes.
Well, I'm lucky because my family already didn't
stakes
like me.
Yeah, right, exactly, right. You've gone through that process that they are scared of going through. And whether consciously or subconsciously, they are scared. They are afraid of losing so much and of admitting that they have devoted their lives to something that is a lie, that is not correct.
And they'll be nitpicky, like the whole yeah instead of yay. That they'll use that. That is enough.
Yeah, that's literally too much for them.
To shut you down.
I guarantee you, we've shown up in a sacrament meeting, fucking fast and testimony meeting at least once, of people going like, and this week I was exposed to, it's really true what they say about how they will have watched some of our show and thought that they were watching us being miserable, because that's their whole like line about ex-Mormons. You should see how miserable these people are. I was to say these fuckers are, but that's
terribly miserable. So miserable that I want to have a drink and a meal with you.
Yeah. No, okay, listen. I'm less miserable than when I left the Mormon church, because I left the Mormon church. I want to be clear. I am miserable, but not because of the church. Not because of my relation to the church.
Shades of misery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I'm just like not getting laid. So.
I spent the last 20 minutes contemplating paying for the highest tier Patreon subscription on Aaron's, just so that I can go to a meet and greet with him. That is how not miserable I am.
Well, call me when that's 10% of your income, because that's what you're up against.
Yeah, and think about this. I was invited to the Global Atheist Convention in 2012 in Melbourne, Australia, which I was very honored that a bunch of people, I couldn't go. I wasn't invited to speak because I was not important enough. But there was a number of people in Australia that raised the money to fly me over because they wanted me to be part of the event, and I'm so glad that they did. I'm hugely indebted to the Atheist Foundation of Australia for having done that. But what the fuck was the point that I was making when I was going there? I completely sidetracked myself. I don't know where I was going.
I just saw the clock. Unfortunately, I have to go because I have a thing in a couple of minutes. But so before y'all close without me, I'll just freeze my thing again. If I can just say as a goodbye, I'm George Santos and I killed Osama bin Laden. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Jimmy Delahunty.
Man, I wish I could remember the point I was at. That's it. I'm Captain Alzheimer's. I'm sorry.
Why is he
Look
back?
at that face.
Why is that back? Why do we
Peter
have
just
to
put
look
it
at that
there.
more?
I think Peter just put it there. Oh.
Jimmy is enough punishment alone. He doesn't need your help, Peter.
It's not that he's not back. He's still here like that. So he left, but left the connection open.
Yeah, I can still see it on the back channel. That's hilarious. All right. Thank you very, very much for everybody that's involved in this. I don't know how much value believers will find out of this. The former believers seem to be getting something out of it, and I really appreciate that. I was baptized Mormon, but as you know, I didn't ever know fuck all about Mormon religion. Even my family wouldn't tell me, because as soon as they started to try to share something, I would instantly reject every fucking thing they said because it was all stupid. And so we never had a basis of communication on that. So I didn't have a religious background at all, pretty much, as a child, which I guess I'm fortunate for. Oh, we've got another comment. David Fisher offers $1.99. Thank you very much for that. And then Isaac Raskin says, thanks, Tomer, for all your Isaiah deciphering. It's really appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
For me, I can finally sleep at night. But I enjoyed reading Isaiah. I don't know about you, but I enjoyed commentating on this, and I hope that the rest of the panelists and the rest of the people who watch this liked my comments as well. I did my best. I'm not a professional about this. I'm just it's a hobby for me, at least. I'm mostly a mathematician / musician, but yeah, I do as I can.
I would like, Tomer, if you don't mind, to just review a couple of the upcoming chapters, and if there's something that you would like to comment on, if there's something relevant, maybe not find out what Rashi said about it. What does Tomer think about it?
Yeah, like the next, like Nephi 25, the first 3 chapters are very anti-Semitic.
Yeah, but
yeah, if you want to comment on that, you're welcome to.
Maybe we'll see.
Aaron, I'm pretty sure you misunderstood Tormer's purpose here. He was just trying to get ahead for the Bible show.
Oh, yeah,
he's saying all he was doing was just he's just preparing his notes for the Bible show. He's going to be saying the exact same thing when y'all get to Isaiah over there.
Well, yeah, but he's also helping me prepare for that, because I have people on the Blasphemers Bible troop that are well more studied than I am.
Me too.
So Tomer's going to help me do my Cliff Notes compression study. And then Taking Back Eden also puts up a comment. FE, Taking Back Eden, and then there's a dash, and it says FE Canadian $2. I don't know what the FE stands for. I think you're awesome, Aaron. Much love and respect. Thank you very much for that, sincerely. And then Russo Glass Plinter. Did I say that right? Okay. $2 says, thank you very much, Aaron. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you very much, sincerely. Corey Springer, new member, $10. Just got back from checking if my car alarm was going off. Did I miss anything? Love the show. Thank you so much, you guys. Shannon, Bryce, I'm so glad that Jimmy said, because other people had suggested that I should have Jimmy on, and then Jimmy said that I should have y'all on, and that was like a compiled list. What?
Damn it.
Jimmy came up.
Sorry, I thought I brought Jimmy back for
Peter,
this.
why? Why do you do this to us?
All right, y'all say the last thing you're going to say. We'll end the show.
See you next week.
Thank you very much.